Rabbonim of yesteryear, and it happens to be here on Tet Tishrei, the 9th of Tishrei, the Hilula of a very great Spanish-Portuguese rabbi. His name was Rabbi Abraham ben Ya'akov Saba Z'tl, one of the great rabbis from the 14 and 1500s. In fact, he was born in the English year 1440 and passed away in the year 1508. He was approximately 68 years of age at the time of passing, to be precise. It was in the Hebrew year Hey Reish Samach Tet. It's actually interesting. He was actually of a very great descent from Castilla in Spain, which had a very, very great community, Torah community, especially during the 1400s, respectively. It's a place that we've spoken about on various different occasions. Also, he was a famous Talmid of the great Rabbi Yitzchak de Leon, who we've spoken about also, who was one of the great Kabbalists of Spain, and one of the great rabbis, especially coming from northern Spain, Sefard, as they call it, and also was a rabbi in Toledo in of itself, respectively. So he came from such great rabbinic auspices. Also, I believe he was part of the 1492 era where the Jews were expelled from Spain, known as the Spanish Inquisition, very much by many, many different people. And he would go on to become one of the great authors and one of the great rabbis in Spain and Portugal, respectively. They actually say at the time of the expulsion of the Jews from Spain, he took refuge in Portugal. And over there, he met, unfortunately, more troubleships over there. I think he settled for a very short point in time in the area of Oporto, and it was reported over that King Emmanuel I of Portugal ordered all Jewish people to be expelled from Portugal, and all Jewish children he wanted to become Christians, and all Hebrew books, unfortunately, to be burned. Absolute horror even to just think of this and to just recount these things. I believe this actually happened on December the 24th, 1946, according to a source over here. They say actually that Rabbi Saba's 2 sons were forcibly taken from him, and he had to flee Oporto, and he abandoned his entire library at the time. He had a huge amount of massive Jewish worldly books, and he actually succeeded only at the risk of his life in saving, I think, his own works, which were a manuscript at that point in time, if I'm not mistaken. So he really did that Mesirat Nefesh. He would then flee to the area of Lisbon. But I think before he actually reached there, he was told of a new order of the king decreeing that, unfortunately, the death of any Jewish person with whom a Hebrew book or a tefillin is what we wear every single morning during Shacharit prayers, on the hand and on the head of himself, if they were found with the tefillin, that they would receive the death penalty. Absolutely, just we see the horrors of anti-Semitism all throughout Jewish history, and very much during that specific period. So it was reported over he hid his manuscripts and tefillin under an olive tree and entered the city, and upon leaving Lisbon, he attempted to recover his hidden treasures, obviously to fill in all the Torah articles that we've got and our Torah novelties. That is a person of itself. It's just a greatness of a person. But I think he was discovered by the king's guards, and he was then thrown into prison, I believe, for a 6 months confinement, and then was sent across, and he went, I think, to Fez in Morocco, and he spent a good 10-year period over there. It wasn't necessarily so good. He fell ill over there, and he went through, reported over some terrible sufferings at that stage in time, health issues, which really very much undermined his health. So let's explore some of the great Torah works which he left us, because he really did leave a lot of great works in of itself, including the Shkola Kofer, which actually we can translate it as a cluster of campfire. It's a commentary on the book of Ruth and the book of Esther. Naturally, the book of Ruth we read during the festival of Shavuot, and the book of Esther actually just for Purim on Tanit Esther, respectively. Also on Purim, we read that Megillah. Then there was the Zeror HaHayim. Naturally, in English we call that the bundle of life. It was commentaries on Shir Hashirim, the Song of Songs, and the treaties of Brachot. And then there was a Zeror Hamor, which is a bundle of Mir, as they say. It was a commentary on various different Torah teachings on the 5 books of Moses over there, and different interpretations according to both the ordinary sense and the mystical method of the Zohar itself. Then there was a Zeror HaKesef, which was naturally a book which spoke about all different legal decisions and legal issues. Then there was a manuscript of his commentary on the book of Job, which is part of the Torah and Nevi'im, and it was in, I believe, it reported over to be in the library of Jelinek library, who happened to be an Austrian rabbi and a scholar in of itself, which is very interesting enough. This was found many hundreds of years later. They say Rabbi Saba wrote a commentary on Pirkei Avot, naturally called that the Ethics of the Fathers. It's a Mishnayot part of, and mentioned in his commentary on Genesis, Bereshit, respectively. In fact, the great rabbi, the Chida, Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azulay, I think read the anecdote in a work entitled Divrei Yosef, and said that Abraham, when at that point in time, when he was journeying from Fez to Verona, he actually became sick on ship in mid-ocean happened to be a very big storm at that point in time, and apparently on the ship, that captain was unable to control the ship and gave up all hope and implored Rabbi Abraham to pray for divine assistance. So Rabbi Abraham stipulated that in case of his death, his body should be delivered to the Jewish community of Verona, and then prayed for the safety of the ship of itself, the vessel itself. His prayer was heard, the storm abated, to see the miracles that occurred in the merit of the rabbi, and the ship went safely on. They say 2 days later after this happened, Rabbi Abraham died, and the captain, keeping his promise, brought the body to Verona, where it was buried with great lavish honors at that point in time. This is Rabbi Abraham Saba over here, who we're speaking about. He was one of the great rabbis, especially from the Portugal, Spain time period of the late 1400s and very early 1500s. It has to be pointed out, we related over information, but with regards to other different rabbis from that specific period of time. And he very much was also, I think there was also a book which he wrote called the Kitzur Smag, also has to be pointed out. And please don't forget to light candles in his memory. Tet Tishrei, the day before Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, is his Hilula. He passed away at the age of 68 years old, and he was one of the great rabbis of that specific area. So please subscribe to the channel. We've covered already about 420 rabbis in this magnanimous series over here. Please like the videos, share the videos to other people that might be interested, and you short free. I'd appreciate any comments that you send also. So wishing you a great day, meaningful day, and take care, and blessings from Israel.